First aid is a very important part of being prepared. Today, we're taking a look at MyMedic, and I feel they make one of the best first aid kits on the planet. Your one-stop destination for all your life-saving gear is MyMedic, so let's check out some of their new stuff. Alright folks, welcome back. So I wanted to give you a little look today at a very important part of your preparedness, and that's medical preparedness. Now this by no means is a full, entire list of what you should store. However, having something like this in your vehicle, your bug out bag or whatever, makes perfect sense. The good thing about this is it's big enough that it's packed with features and packed with stuff, but it's big enough that it has room to put in some of your own personal stuff too. If there's any kind of prescription medication that you take, there's more than enough room in there to put it in. So we're going to look at these two new products. What we're looking at today is the MyFAK Mini Pro. That's my first aid kit, okay? And also too, this Micromend cut kit. Now these are interesting. We'll get into this. I'll show you. I'll tell you all about that in a minute. But these are interesting. But I want to get into the bag first. I was really impressed with this when I first got it. The Molle Panels on these are nice and lightweight, but they're very durable. You have a really high-end clip up here that won't be falling apart on you. You do have a little bit of a pull here too, so you can push that and pull it right out if you're incapacitated to some extent. Gives you a little bit of an easier opening. I'm going to open this up here and show you what's inside. I have not even taken the tag off it yet, which we'll do here quickly so it doesn't get in the way. But I wanted to make sure that I showed you the tag. Now, this is their information here. Okay. Gives you all the information, 75 first aid things, color-coded organization, Molle attachment straps. All in all the things inside. We're just going to open this thing up and I'm going to tell you all about it. Now, the weight on this, as it comes to you, is 2.5 pounds. The dimensions on it are about 8.5 inches high when it stands up, 6 inches wide, and 2.7 inches thick. I'd say it's a little thicker than 2.7 inches, maybe 3.5. But anyway, all in all, an awesome little bit of kit. So we're going to open this up and take a look at what comes inside. First, I'm going to show you the interior of it so you can see it. I'm going to move the camera a little bit back so we can kind of get into this and show you everything that's inside of it. So one of the neat features of this, besides the Molle panels that are really nice to have on there because you can always add more stuff, is this kind of page design here. So you have a folding page in the middle, and everything is really neat and organized. You can kind of see where you're going from where. First thing we're going to look at is the bleed side of things here. Okay, and this is a little survival and first aid manual here. It's a digital download. You download this to your phone, and you'll have a survival and first aid guide in it. Okay, we got burn shield here. This is their burn mod, mini burn mod. One of the things I like about MyMedic is they have these mods. These little packs, okay? And we'll get into this. I'll show you this one too. These are very handy because when you use something up, if you're in an emergency, if I use this up, I don't have to think, oh, how many gels did I use? Do I need to order more? I just go on the site and order another one of these, and in it comes. You got your quick clot. Okay, that's your dressing there to control bleeding. Very simple. Just open it up, put it over the wound, and then wrap it with some gauze. Inside here, a rapid tourniquet. A little bit smaller than what we're used to with the cat tourniquets, but between the cat and this, of course, I prefer the cat, but this does work very, very well. It does exactly what it's supposed to do. Very simple to put together. You're just going to wind this around, once around, tighten it up, and then pull it like that to get it nice and tight. So, very, very handy. Not a lot of first aid kits that you buy off the shelf come with tourniquets. That's impressive to begin with. Of course, you'll have some gloves. Up top here is a non-adherent pad. So this might be something that you'd use. Looks like somebody tried to open mine. This might be something that you'd use to cover a wound after you've treated it with the quick clot. Okay, back this up a little bit. Okay, over here, Super Skin. These are an assortment of bandages to treat all sorts of different wounds. Again, love the mod idea of this. It's each little packet. All right, so if there's an emergency and I'm helping out or I'm trying to treat somebody, and I go through how many bandages? I don't know. I'm just trying to patch people up and wait till EMTs get there. I don't have to think, oh gosh, I need to put 2 more of those big ones and 4 more of those small ones, and I just order a new mod and I just stick it in my kit and it's ready to go. Some people, when I reviewed a couple other things from this, were like, well, it's going to take you time to open that up, and what if something happens? And I'd rather keep this closed up and sterile and have to rip it open in a second than worry about infecting myself or somebody else if it's open and possible something can get inside. So there's the first side. Move the stuff to the side. We're going to go into the middle panel. All right, so we move that off. We're going to take a look at this middle panel. Now this is something that I've always included in every first aid kit I've ever made, is a light source. I like seeing that in here. This is your regular snap light. Many times you're going to be treating wounds or injuries in the dark. May not be the brightest thing in the world. Maybe your flashlight's down, maybe you lost it in the chaos, but at least you have something to light things up. Okay. Over here, Superwash, a topical wash for wounds, and it is all sealed up in plastic. And yeah, it's going to take a few seconds to get into that, but I'd rather it be sealed up and not leak everywhere. Inside here is all your different types of creams and meds, hydrocortisone, antiseptic towels. This does feel like it's kind of suction cupped closed. That's kind of cool. Kind of keeps things from drying out. A lot of times these towelettes dry out very quickly. So it's nice to have that. In here you got a few more bandages. This is blister, super skin blister. Okay. And a space blanket. Now these are awesome for preventing shock or keeping shock away from somebody. They're also awesome in a pinch. If you get stuck in the cold, you can use them. Again, these are not designed to keep you warm. They're designed to keep your core temperature just warm enough so you don't go into hypothermia. If you're using this in an emergency and thinking, God, why am I not warm yet? Well, that's not what it's designed for. It's designed to keep your core temperature warm enough so you don't go into hypothermia. All right, next side. Mini sprain and fracture mod kit. This is some sport tape type stuff that you can use to roll things up. You got a bandage roll, and you have a finger splint in there as well. If you fracture a finger, at least you can stabilize it. Usually I've used duct tape and sticks when I hurt my finger at one point. So you can do that. Very easy to use. All right, next up, the hydration pack. Has 2 hydration pouches in here and 2 water purification tablets. When I first saw this, I thought they were packing water in this thing, and I'm like, oh, come on. You could always stick some water in here if you really wanted to. This is a Cpr Barrier. Most companies that teach CPR now are teaching hand-only CPR. If you know how to do the breathing, this is very handy. You don't have to have mouth-to-mouth contact. You have that barrier between you and the person that you're helping. So, you know, if it's a little bit uncomfortable, if you don't know the person, if you don't know they're sick, whatever, this will keep you a little bit removed from your incident. Okay, that's the middle section. Let's move on to the last section. All right, so we're in the end section here. Now, you do have zip packs. These things are incredible. I've wanted to try these for a long time. I messaged somebody about it, and they directed me to the company, and I never heard back. These are basically zip closures. When you have a cut that might need stitches, but either you're too far away to get them, or you don't think it's bad enough to do it and you want to just take care of it yourself. These basically are bandages on both sides, and you'll pull, and they will pull the wound closed like that. So it's almost like a little bit of a ratcheting kind of effect on any wounds that you might have. These are awesome for medium to pretty deep lacerations. Again, you want to take yourself and get treatment, but to keep yourself safe and from bleeding out or bleeding profusely, these definitely come in handy. Okay. Next up, nasal pharyngeal airway. Now, if you do not know how to use these, please either learn how to use them or don't. You can really hurt somebody if you don't know what you're doing. Basically what this is going to do is give, if a windpipe is damaged or your nasal structure is damaged or whatever, and you can get this in there, it will give them a way to breathe. Okay, and that's how this works here. There are, what's it, size 28, so it's a medium. They make a large and a small. Medium fits most people. So you have in here your nasal pharyngeal airway, 1 packet of lube, and you do need to lubricate these. You're going to be going down somebody's sinus cavity, not to be gross, but 1 pair of gloves, hand wipe, and 1 IFU. So this is very handy. If you know what you're doing, you can really give somebody their air back in an emergency. Definitely want to learn how to use it, but it's definitely a good tool. This is interesting. I didn't expect this. This is a mini tool mod. These are tools and devices for a bunch of tasks. In here you're going to have a whistle, a flashlight, and a pair of tweezers. Tweezers, of course, for splinters, stuff like that, going to come in real handy. Your flashlight, of course, again, aside from the light stick, will give you a good source of light. And your tweezer, your whistle will let out your location should anybody want to know where the heck you are. Definitely a handy thing to have in a first aid kit. You're going to get some paracord. And at first I was like, well, why paracord? Well, there's a lot of uses in an emergency situation for paracord. And even some that could move into the first aid arena. So that's kind of handy to have too. Okay, over here, a pair of cutting shears. These actually do feel fairly decent. Let's see how they work. Yeah, they're cutting. They're definitely cutting through. The idea of these are, Emt shears, are to be able to use them. If you notice, the edges are rounded off, and you have a little bit of a protector there. They're to use to cut off clothing in an emergency. So I can get under a pants cuff or an arm or a shirt, whatever, and I don't have to worry about injuring the person with this little protector there. They will allow me to cut that area off and treat it without having the person take their shirt off if they're, out, whatever, if they're passed out. Very handy thing to have. You definitely want to get a decent set. These seem to be pretty good, and they're also nice and compact. There's some, if you've cut through stuff before, and I've done it in first aid classes, if you've cut through some heavy denim and stuff, you want a good pair that's going to actually cut through it. Nothing is more frustrating than using cheapies that you get in the off-the-shelf first aid kit, and it just twisting on you and the blades going sideways. So, last up is some gauze. Okay, and there you go. So you really have a nice kit, very nice pack. As you can tell, it's definitely expandable for more room. You have this little tearaway back here if you need to. And with the tearaway back, you also have a way to carry this. So if you wanted to use this as a waist pack, if you're running around helping a lot of people at once, you can use this as sort of a fanny pack. You can even stick it over your shoulder, wear it crossbody, whatever. If you're in a situation where you're trying to help a lot of people and maybe being mobile and moving around from one person to the other, definitely a handy thing to have. You also have this very handy for if you're hiking and you want your first aid kit right up front of you. You wear it crossbody, it's right in front of you there, and you can get it and take care of things right there. So what I'm going to do is paddle this stuff up and show it in front of you here, put it all together and show you how much it comes with, and then we're going to talk about this MyMedic cut kit. So even though I put everything pretty close together, you see you're getting a lot of gear in here. Definitely well worth it. A lot of stuff, nice bag, well thought out kit. And that's what I like. You'll go to the store, say Walmart, you pick up a first aid camp kit, and it's got a few Band-Aids and maybe some Neosporin, a few aspirin or non-aspirin, but it's not like this. This is to treat trauma. This is to treat a bad injury, and they can happen even out here. I've hurt myself pretty bad over the years at times, and that's what this is for. This is for getting yourself at least stabilized, if not taking care of the problem, at least stabilized enough so you can get to emergency treatment or get to an ambulance or have the ambulance get to you without something bad happening. I mean, a tourniquet in the hands of somebody who knows what they're doing can save a life very, very easily. Next up, we're going to open this one up. This is a new MyMedic cut kit, and I'm not really sure what's in it. I believe they have a thing on the end here. 2 MyMedic devices, 2 gauze pads, BZK towelette, and instructions for use. I believe this is kind of similar to the zips, but we're going to open it up and see. You can always close it back up and stick it in here. I'm probably going to put it in that kit to begin with, but let's get it open and see what's inside. All right, so there we go. Yep, it is, see? These basically pull together. You got your sterile pad, your MyMedic piece here. There's some more stuff in here. I believe it's directions. There we go. Instructions for use. That's why it's kind of important to know how to use this stuff. If somebody's sitting there bleeding out in front of you, the last thing anybody or they want to see you do is go, now how does this work? Okay, hold on. Oh, hold it. I'll be right there. So definitely learn how to use this stuff ahead of time. It's very simple. It's pretty intuitive. But for things that maybe you're not experienced with, if you've never used a tourniquet or a nasopharyngeal airway, I've even seen some more advanced kits come with decompression needles. Please don't use that without knowing what you're doing, okay? And here's your BZK towelette. So definitely a cool little kit, nice little easy kit. I will have a link down below if you're interested in getting these and getting started out with some good, well thought out first aid. Of course, I build my own kits, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to add a few things to this, but this is pretty darn complete. I would not be worried about taking this with me on a trip or during an emergency, carrying it with me. I would not at all be concerned about that. I feel it's got a good bunch of basics. Even for those of you in CERT that are involved in CERT, something like this could definitely be an addition to your kit. I know they give you some basic supplies when you start out in CERT, and I've since rotated 98% of mine out and improved a lot of it, as well as even changed the bag for CERT. So I've done a lot of modifications to my CERT kit. Unfortunately, you know, out here we had training for CERT, and then nobody really did much more after it. So I'm hoping that if there's an emergency, people have kind of kept up on their skills, maybe taken a little training on their own. I would like to see it be a little more active. We get invitations to play like dead people in Vegas. That's about all we get in our CERT emails out here in Pahrump. So it's kind of a bummer. But I do like the fact that, you know, I've learned a lot from that class, and having a kit like this will really augment what you have already. Definitely a neat little setup. So that is the MyMedic MYFAK Mini Pro. This is the Pro version. They do have a regular version that has a lot of good stuff in it. This just has a little bit more additional items in it. This is the Pro, and they run about $199.95. Now, if you know what you're doing, and you're a professional, and you've been doing this for years, you probably know that's a pretty good price. The stuff isn't cheap. Most of the stuff isn't inexpensive at all. I know first aid stuff. The first time I started getting into first aid as a prepper, I'm like, damn, that's a lot of money, you know? I remember going to a gun show, and I literally went up to the first aid table at the gun show I used to go to and asked them, I said, look, I'm new to this. What do I need for a good first aid kit? And by the time I was done getting everything I needed, which was pretty close to this, it was well over $300. So, you know, I know, yeah, gun show inflated prices and all, but this kit is all set together. Doesn't require you to learn a ton of stuff. You just go out, you buy what you need, you put it together, and it's done. You know, you don't have to go out and buy what you need and put it together. It's done for you right here, all set. So I definitely like the kit. There will be a link down below to check out. Underneath that link, please don't forget to check out our Amazon affiliate store. Everything that I review in the channel that has an Amazon link will be in my store. You can check it out. You can also shop for other stuff on there. I have, since probably the beginning of my relationship with Amazon, I have a lot of gear in there. So definitely check it out. There's a bunch of little categories you want to look through. Below that is our freeze-dried wholesaler link. And congrats to the winners yesterday. I still have some winners that haven't contacted me yet. So if you haven't contacted me, go back and check that video from yesterday. We did have the grand prize winner contact me. I believe a $100 winner. And then we had two of the runner-up winners. So if you haven't watched the video and you watch my videos regularly, and I know sometimes YouTube hides videos, you know, it's just the way the algorithm works. It wasn't an overly popular video, so I'm not going to show it to everybody because it was just a drawing. So go back and check yesterday's video and see if you won that kit. Also, if you use my link for freeze-dried wholesalers, you will save 15% on all your orders. So definitely check it out. Below that, our My Patriot supply link. This month we have $250 off a 3-month kit. We also have the 4-week kit at a really good price, but the 3-month kit with $250 off is an amazing deal. So definitely check that out. Below that, our Thrive Life freeze-dried food store. Definitely check him out. We also have our Jace medical link if you're interested in getting some antibiotics. We're talking about first aid today. You can get antibiotics prescribed to you after a telehealth visit, after an internet visit, by a doctor, and sent to your door with your name on those prescription bottles. There's no wondering if the stuff's legit or not. Anyway, folks, I thank you for watching. Do check out their link below. MyMedic has some awesome stuff. Stay safe and stay prepared.